Welcome to Book Club The Yappening, a podcast where we discuss every and all things we've read and some of us haven't read, in a safe place where we can yap about life in general. In the description, you'll find links to our Fable, Instagram, and Discord accounts. Please follow for more yapping in different styles. For a warning, we will 100% be spoiling this book, so please pause, go read, and come back to yap.
And we're back.
We're back?
We're back.
Hello.
Part 2.
Part 2 of Rebel Angels by
My phone.
Libba Bray.
Did you say Rebel Angels? Wait, what?
Yeah, oh, sorry, that's the name of the book.
Oh, Rebel Angels? Oh,
Yeah.
Rebel.
Yeah.
And then, Nick, I don't want to scroll back up to the trigger warnings, but when you are editing, will you please
Retrigger.
Retrigger.
Pull that trigger again. Nope. I'm not gonna. No.
Okay, so last we left off, Nell essentially explained to Gemma exactly what to do and how to find the temple, but she kind of did it a little covertly, and then she was dragged off. We are now at Christmas Eve. Sorry, my throat. Okay.
A side note, so she says Lady Hope.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't she call Gemma Lady Hope?
Mm-hmm.
So you must offer hope.
Mm-hmm.
So she must offer herself to the people?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love that. Okay.
But, like, and by doing so, she's providing them with hope.
Yeah.
That things could be better and that things could change. So that's essentially what I mean, is that it's not like a physical something, but, like, you're going basically be the change you want to see in the world type of thing.
And I'm assuming she has to bind the magic to herself. Like, Gemma has to bind the magic to herself.
Well, we don't know, and Gemma doesn't know, and
Oh.
Gemma doesn't know what she's going to do until she just does it.
She needs to shoot the arrow through a nail.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So, because basically one of Nell's things is, like, you can't keep things caged. So very much she's just kind of like, she's going to use me, I'm going to become a tool, but also I'm trapped, so, like, set me free, essentially. So Christmas Eve, Gemma's very worried about her father. He is very much in the throes of addiction still. When she first, like, gets home, her brother is basically like, he's going to be really tricky. You cannot, under any circumstances, give him laudanum, because Tom is essentially, like, dosing him as needed with just enough to keep him from being ill. So, like, the laudanum's essentially locked up, and he's just like, I know that you're a soft because you're a girl. And I know that you care for him, and he's going to try to trick you. Do not be tricked. But, like, literally immediately she sees her dad, and he's like, oh, I have a gift for you over there in the desk I want to give to you. Can you go unlock it and grab the gift out? And she leaves the desk unlocked, and that was where the laudanum was stored. So, like, her dad is very much in the throes of addiction. One of the times that they brought magic back from the realms, she goes up to her father, who's, like, having a snooze, and she, like, touches his head and tells him, like, you're healed and better. After this, he actually starts, like, acting normal, and he's no longer asking anybody for laudanum, so she's like, cool, fixed it. However, he's been spending a lot more time outside the house, which she thinks is like, oh, he's getting better. He's, like, hanging out down at the club, like, his rich fella club, and we're about to find out that that is not true.
Oh, God.
So Gemma's worried. Her father went out the night before, and it is now dinner Christmas Eve, so he's been gone for like 24 hours, and he has not come back. But Tom and their grandmother aren't necessarily worried. Her dad, for all intents and purposes, is like just a really, really loving, doting father. So it's not unusual for him to disappear on Christmas Eve, because he is known to come back on Christmas morning with, like, just really extravagant gifts for everybody. So, like, no one's super worried, because they're like, well, he's done this before. Like, on Christmas, he'll just, like, disappear and then come home. So, like, don't worry about it. But she's not necessarily feeling that she shouldn't be worried. Like, she is generally concerned. So it's about 11 p.m. Christmas Eve. Kardik comes into the house, and he asks Gemma where Tom is. He's being super cagey. He doesn't really want to tell Gemma why he's looking for Tom. But we know Kardik, he can't keep secrets, so he tells Gemma why he's looking for Tom. Essentially, the night before, he took her father to an opium den. And that's where his dad's been disappearing to, and because Kardik is the coachman, he's the one that's basically been taking him there. And he is like, this is the longest he's ever been in there, and I cannot get him out of there. So, like, I need Tom to, like, if not convince him to leave, then to help me physically carry him from the building. And Gemma convinces him, you're not gonna take Tom, but I'll go with you. And he's like, I fucking hate that, but I'm gonna go ahead and need you to put on your brother's clothes because I can't take, this is legitimately not a place for a young lady to go. So I need you to look like a man so that bad things don't happen. Which totally fair. 16-year-old girl going into a house of like men that are not okay. So they get there, they make their way inside. Gemma describes the place as a hovel. It's dark, it stinks. The air is thick with smoke, and there are literally men in all stages of consciousness, like laying all over the floor, dirty mattresses. They get inside, they go talk to the owner. He is wearing Gemma's father's wedding ring. So Gemma is basically like, where'd you get that ring, and is he still here? And he's like, well, I'm not running a boarding house, I'm not telling you anything. And there's like a curtain off to the side, and then she notices a hand come out, and the hand is holding her father's pocket watch, and he's asking for more drugs. So it's her dad who's like just basically giving over his valuables to get more drugs. She sees the pocket watch. They go look behind the curtain. Her father is laying on a stained mattress. He's half clothed. There's like a woman draped over him. Basically, she tries to convince him to leave, and he like shoves her and pushes her to the floor. And then basically her and Kartik like pick him up and carry him outside. Once they get him into the carriage, she just starts sobbing, like fully crying. Kartik asks her what's wrong. She says that it's all her fault. He's like this because her mother was killed. Her mother was killed because of her. So basically, if not for her, her father wouldn't be going through this right now. He whispers in Hindi, "Come here, my friend," and he pulls her in and he like hugs her and he tells her he's never known a braver girl. The next morning, Gemma sneaks out to the stables to thank him and also to apologize. Like, apologize for crying, but also, like, thank you for, like, helping me. And he simply says everyone needs help sometimes. And then he gives her a gift, saying, like, Merry Christmas. She opens it and she finds a small dagger. The handle is a totem. He tells her that the totem offers protection from enemies, and that it was his brother's dagger. Because she kind of makes it, he's basically saying that it's a Hindu totem, and then she kind of like makes a jab at him, like, I thought you didn't believe in your culture, like I thought the Rakshana was your culture. And he's like, well, it was my brother's. And his brother was not like other Rakshana. He had dreams bigger than staying there. So let's see. She mentions that she'll be attending a ball that evening, and he very mockingly pretends to be like a fancy dude, and he's like, oh, Lady Fancy Pants, and she's like, oh, Mr. Fancy Pants, and then he's basically says, can I have a dance? And she's like, yes, Mr. Fancy Pants, and he's like, no, can I have a dance? So she realizes that he's not joking, he wants to dance with her. So she's instructing him on how to hold her, and they begin dancing. He pulls her closer into him, and he says that he has something he needs to tell her. She's worried that whatever he's going to say is going to ruin the moment they're having, so she ruins it by pulling away and saying that she needs to go back inside. He tries to tell her something, like, he's like, I really do need to tell you something, and she's like, it's cold, I gotta go. And he's like, okay, fine, don't forget your gift. So he picks up the knife and hands it to her, and as she's taking it, their fingers touch. He then kisses her. She gets butterflies in her stomach, but she pulls away and tells him, like, please don't. And he asks, is it because I'm Indian? And she very much says, I don't even think of you as Indian. And he's like, oh, okay. He's like, okay, well, glad for that. And then he like grabs up his stuff, and she's like, white lady, like, why is that offensive? And like later she tells Felicity, and Felicity's like, why is that offensive? Like, oh my god. Yeah, it does occur to Gemma shortly after like he storms out, but he gathers up his stuff and he is like, I'm going back to the Rakshana. And she's like, I don't want you to go. And he's like, sucks to suck, bye, like, don't fucking care. Like, now I'm really gonna kill you, bitch. He's like, now I'm gone. He's like, now I'm gonna kill you. Yes. So oh my god. We are now at the Christmas ball. It's at the Worthington, so it's at Felicity's home. Simon asks Gemma for a dance. After the song ends, he tells her that he's going to come back and see her later in the night. Like,
No.
basically, like, once the party goes for a little bit, I'll come back, like, type of thing.
No, you don't need to.
He returns once the chaperones have had a few drinks, and basically none of the adults are paying attention to what the, like, singles are doing. For the most part, like, the chaperones are not chaperoning. So he comes up and asks Gemma to go for a walk with him. She basically says, like, I should probably tell my chaperone that I'm going with you. And he's like, well, no, it's fine. We're not going to go anywhere far. And she's like, I should at least let somebody know that I'm going, though. And so part of this is, like, kind of back in the day, if a single woman and a dude are alone together, nobody can prove that they didn't have sex, basically.
Yeah, and basically you did if you did.
Right.
Like you didn't have, like, if you didn't have it, but you did.
Yeah.
If you were alone, you are now branded as unmarriable, essentially. Hashtag Bridgerton.
Yes. So, let's see, hang on. I totally skipped over a huge chunk. He makes a joke about Felicity being a man-eater. So Felicity at some point tells Gemma that, like, Simon at one point was trying to court her and she was not having it. So he doesn't like Felicity. So when he comes back up to Gemma, she goes, oh, what's wrong? Felicity doesn't want to dance with you. And he goes, why? Has she eaten all the other men? Yeah, like, she has to dance with me because, like, she's killed everybody. So Gemma goes, I shouldn't laugh. You're being horrible. And he tells her that he's very good at being horrible and asks if she wants to find out.
No!
And that's when he asks her to go for a walk. And she's like, don't love this. And so she's like, I at least need to tell someone where I'm going. And he goes, hang on. And he goes, and he comes back with Felicity and Anne. And he's like, there. Now you have people who are witnesses and everybody here can stay a virgin, basically. So all three 16-year-olds go with the adult to a billiards room. He pulls out a bottle of absinthe. They take turns drinking it.
No, you don't take drinks with the creepy man!
They all take turns drinking it. Simon then starts to get, like, closer to Gemma than he should, and Felicity is like, mm-mm. So she's like, yeah, thanks for the drinks, we gotta go. And he very visibly is not happy that she did that, but he doesn't try to fight it. They let him go. Felicity, Anne, and Gemma, their, like, cover for sneaking off to the billiards room was like, oh, Anne had a tear in her dress, so we ran off to the coat room to have a servant mend it. So they go to the coat room so that people, like, other people will see them exiting the coat, like, entering and exiting the coat room to kind of, like, add to the story. But while they're in the coat room, Felicity and Gemma are, like, high as a kite. Like, their eyes are getting, like, dilated. They're being really goofy because absinthe used to have wormwood in it, which would make you not just intoxicated, but high. So, they return to the ballroom. Once Gemma enters, Simon immediately sweeps her up and begins dancing with her. Once the dance is over, Gemma's, like, incredibly dizzy because, again, she's, like, kind of drunk, she's kind of high, and he just has been spinning her around a fucking dance floor. So she kind of stumbles a little bit, and so he's incredibly happy to assist her, so he pulls her into a dark corner. Not to, feel her up, but to check on her. Once he's done rubbing the fuck all over her neck and kissing her, he takes her upstairs to the maid's bedroom. She lays down, she's high. He starts kissing her, like kissing her neck, like pulling off her gloves. She has to go back to the ballroom, but he tells her, no, it's fine. My mom likes you.
The fuck?
Like, it's okay if we fuck because I'm gonna marry you anyways because my mom really likes you, so this is totally fine. So Gemma slips into a vision. The ghostly girls tell her that they found the temple. Gemma sees like a castle floating on an island, and that was a piece of imagery that she was given at some point by Nell. So Gemma's like, oh cool, this is the temple. But as she's looking at the temple, the tracker comes up, like, and so Gemma is horrified. She starts screaming, like, full on shrieking, and then she's back in her body, and she's legitimately shrieking. And Simon is like, no, stop. And so, he calms her down, gets her to stop fucking screaming. He's basically like, I didn't mean any harm. Like, please stop screaming. She then hops up out of bed and pukes in the like wash basin, and he's just like, do you need me to go get somebody? And she's like, I just want to go back to the ballroom. And he's like, oh, thank God. Like, thank God, because I would have to figure out who I could possibly explain this to and bring them up here to like help you. So thank God you're good enough to like, let's just get you cleaned up and go back down. The second they get back down to the main level, he fucking yeets himself out of there. Like, she doesn't see him the rest of the night.
I hope he gets hit by a carriage and a horse shits on his face.
Yeah, and I literally don't mention him again, but she feels like it's her fault. She's upset. She wants to explain to him that she wasn't shrieking because he was essaying her. So, like, she feels
the
bad.
glasses need to come off.
And she's just like, oh my God, he's going to think I'm so weird. I didn't want him to do what he was doing, but, like, I wasn't screaming because of it. So, he, at some point later in the book, will come and bring, like, a family heirloom to her. And he's like, this has been in my family for centuries, handed down woman to woman. If I had a sister, it would have gone to her, but I want you to have it.
That's fucking nasty.
And then before she goes back to Spence, she's going to go to his house and basically, like, beat around the bush and be like, but maybe I have some secrets. You don't really know me. Am I safe enough to tell you all of my secrets and you're not going to treat me any differently? And he kind of like hesitates, and she's like, oh, okay, that's the answer. He kind of is like, well, no, it's fine. Like, everybody has secrets, right? And then she's like, but can I be open with you? And he's like, oh, So he leaves the room, and she like leaves the brooch there before she goes back to school. So like things are ended, but is legitimately going to like try to propose to her, or did try to propose to her, and she declined. And then her and Mrs. Nightwing have like this really sweet moment at the end of the book, where Simon sends her a gift, and it's like a box, and it has like a false bottom, and he is basically like, here's to hold all your secrets. So like, he doesn't pursue her anymore, but he's still like, okay, well, I get it, but like, here's a gift, like, here's a parting gift. I'm not mad at you for like ditching me and not saying anything. But Mrs. Nightwig, when she gives Gemma the gift and the note from Simon, Gemma kind of makes like a joke of like, you probably think I'm a fool for like turning him down. And Mrs. Nightwing basically says, it's always best to be entirely sure you want to marry someone. Otherwise, you might wake up one day with a note saying that he's gone out and he never comes back. And then you might see him on a boardwalk later with a younger wife and a child. So it's like implied that is what happened. So Mrs. Nightwing is like, you shouldn't marry somebody unless you're certain that you love them. Like, basically, like, I didn't get to have a lot of choices when I was your age, and it's a good thing that you can have a lot of choices. Anyways, circling back to the present, Gemma's like really concerned that Simon like left, but as they're coming back down, dinner is happening. So everybody goes to the dinner table. Felicity's father is asking the young child to come sit on his lap, and he's being like really weird with her. But everybody's like, oh, how cute. Look at him. He's so sweet. That's not his real daughter, but he's like treating her nicely. And so again, Gemma clocks that Felicity is not happy at what's transpiring. And again, she thinks that it's because Felicity's jealous. Felicity basically, it puts a stop to things and is like, Father, I think Polly should go to bed. And he's like, okay, very well, like, calls over the governess to come and get Polly. And Felicity stands up and is like, I'll take her to bed. And he's like, okay, good night, Polly. I'll be up to see you later. Like, wish you good night. Like, sprinkle fairy dust so the monsters don't get you. So Felicity takes Polly upstairs. Gemma is so certain that Felicity is about to hurt this little girl that she goes after them, because she's like, I don't like where this is going. I mean, she shouldn't like where it's going, but like, she follows after them, and she stands outside the bedroom. Felicity, she like hears Felicity telling Polly that she needs to lock her door tonight and every single night because she needs to keep the monsters out. And Polly is, but like, if I lock the door, he can't come in and sprinkle fairy dust on me. And she's like, you don't let anybody in. You go to bed, you lock your door, you do not let anybody in. Just basically, Felicity's like trying to like coach this girl to like keep herself safe so that bad things don't happen to her. And Gemma like it occurs to her, like, oh no, because little comments that Felicity's made throughout the, like, series are clicking into place for Gemma, and Gemma understands, like, oh no. So when Felicity comes out of the room, for whatever fucking reason, Gemma decides to confront Felicity about this. Like, not like in an aggressive way, but just like oh, I'm so sorry. And Felicity's not, like, touchy-feely with anybody except her roommate Pippa. So Felicity, like, kind of gets mad that Gemma's even saying anything to her. Because...
Yeah.
And she does the, like, oh, it's my fault. Like, he did this to me because it's my fault. And then Gemma's like, of course not. He's your father. He's supposed to protect you. And then Felicity's like, well, yeah, your dad's on drugs. Like, so they, like, kind of have a showdown just insulting each other's fathers. And then...
Yeah, they both kind of suck right now.
Yeah, I mean, they're teenage girls, right? So, let's see. And then as Gemma is storming off, Felicity yells at her that she doesn't know what it's like to be powerless, type of thing. Because Gemma has all this power, and she's like, you don't get me, you don't know me, you've never had to be powerless a day in your life, type of thing. But, like, obviously we know that Gemma very much was just SA'd, so, like, she knows how to be, she was powerless in that moment, but also she all of a sudden had these powers that she didn't understand, she didn't know how to stop them, she didn't know what was going on. So, like, very much Gemma does know what it's like to be powerless, but, like, girlhood is hating yourself and envying everybody else while they're hating themselves and envying you. So that's just kind of like how life goes. Anyways, Gemma storms off. A few days later, Gemma goes to sit with her father. He's struggling through withdrawal, and he tells her that he's been having horrible nightmares. Gemma asks what's been going on, and he says that terrible creatures have been coming to speak with him and telling him that her mother was evil, and that everything that's happening to him is her fault, basically, is Gemma's fault.
Because they can see through people who have, I would say, weak minds.
Yeah.
So he is currently also weak-minded.
Yes. So at this point, Gemma's had it. She's like, I'm fucking going to get Felicity and Anne. We're going into the realms, and we're not leaving until we find this temple. So they enter the garden. They're met with a small animal that's completely torn open, laying in the grass.
Okay, Peppa.
And Anne is like, are you sure you took us to the garden? And Gemma's like, yeah, this is the garden. And then a small deer steps out of the bushes. The deer sniffs the air, and then it becomes frantic. Like, the deer clearly smells a predator. It's scared. And then something leaps out of the bushes, tackles the animal, grabs it, pulls it back into the bushes. And then the girls hear the deer screaming before it goes silent, and then they hear, like, bones snapping. So Felicity has her bow and arrow, and she's like, what the fuck? They, like, walk up to the bushes, and they see Pippa. She's crouched over this deer. She is the creature. She very quickly, like, her eyes are milky white, and then they come back to herself, and she just stands up, and she's like, hey, guys, and she's just, like, fully covered in blood, and they're just like...
That's so Skinwalker-esque.
Girl, what the fuck? And Gemma's like, what is happening? And she's like, oh, the deer was gonna hurt you. I had to. The deer, it was a dangerous deer.
It was a dangerous deer. You see its fangs and claws?
Right. And then Gemma goes, that's not true. And then Pippa's like, you don't know everything. And she's just like, okay, cool. And so Pippa, like, kind of snaps at Gemma, and then she picks a flower and gives it to Felicity. And Pippa asks if they want to go for a ride on the river. She's very much just trying to, like, okay, cool, we're hanging out. Here's a flower. Do you want to come hang out with me? And she tells Anne that she knows a place that's completely wonderful and Anne would love it. And that the magic's really strong there, and Anne can, like, make herself beautiful. And Anne's like, that sounds really great, but we need to find the temple, and we can definitely go after that. And Pippa goes, oh, have you located the temple? And Felicity begins to say, like, yeah, we know where it is. And then Gemma's like, we're not quite sure where it is yet. And then Pippa, like, realizes what's happening. And so she goes off on Gemma, basically saying, like, you never liked me. You never wanted me to hang out with you. You don't want me to hang out with you now. And Gemma is like, that's not true. But it is not true, but it's not untrue. Pippa accuses Gemma of leaving her there to die. Like, Pippa's just really fucking going in on Gemma. And then Pippa says, you wouldn't even know you were in danger if it wasn't for me. Basically, like, I came into your dreams and warned you that you were in danger. And so Felicity is like, why did you lie to me? Like, Felicity's like, I don't care that you lied to them, but I'm your best friend. Why did you lie to me? You told me that wasn't true. And so Pippa starts pouting, and she's like, well, if you can't trust me, then I guess I can't go with you. And she storms off. And so Anne is like, should we go get her? And Felicity's like, if she wants to be a fucking brat, let her be a brat. And like, let's go. And so Pippa is basically like, I'm not going to go with you, but don't fucking ask me for help later when you need me. So they go. They follow the amulet. They come back to the like temple. But then all of a sudden the floating girls are there. And they tell Gemma and co that the temple is close by. Follow us. Let's go. The ghosties lead them off. They go to where the floating island is with what they think is the temple. It's the one from Gemma's vision. Felicity and Anne are incredibly excited, but then Gemma's like, wait, we're not on the path anymore. The amulet's not lighting up. We're not on the path. And Felicity's like, well, you know, Nell's not well anyway, so like maybe we shouldn't be listening to her. Basically, like, at best she's just in need of psychiatric help. At worst, she's working with Circe, so like we should disregard everything that she's told us. They've also literally have no way that the ghosts are telling the truth either. They're from the fucking realms, and so this is like, again, that teenage like frustration of Nell continually told you that they weren't her friends. They're from the realms. Like, also, they were eaten by one of Circe's creatures, and we know from the first book that if Circe's creatures eat you, you are now a slave to the Winterlands, right? So, like, we should theoretically know for a fact that absolutely Nell should be trusted over these girls, but, like, they're just like, well, maybe this is a temple, so, like, okay, we'll just pretend like everything's fine. So there's a boat nearby. The girls get on the boat. They go across to the cathedral. They think it's the temple. Spoilers, it's not. The cathedral is surrounded by like these big ass fucking birds just squawking and like circling. They go inside. It's massive. It's empty. Felicity finds a torch and she goes off looking and seeing what she can find. Anne reaches something that she sees in the wall and it falls out and it rolls across the floor and it's a skull. As the skull goes rolling, the cathedral flashes from this beautiful building that they believe they're standing in to like a crumbling building, and then it goes back to the beautiful building. Mm-hmm. And Gemma says that she thinks that they should probably leave. Felicity then shouts for Gemma and Anne. They go over to her. She's holding the torch against the wall. The entire wall is embedded with hundreds of bones. At this point, Gemma's like, we absolutely need to leave. So they're very like, she says they led us astray just like Nell said they would. What a shock. Anne grabs Gemma's arm and they see shadows scurrying around the ceiling. Gemma whispers that they need to leave now and they start very trying to slowly back out. The shadows are moving around them. Gemma yells for them to run, but before they can make it out, they hear voices whispering "Pop it" over and over and over again. Half a dozen creatures appear. They're dressed in tattered white robes and chainmail. There's one in the center who is very clearly the leader. He smiles at them and greets them and offers his hand. Gemma sees that his arm has like inky black lines going up, but then at the top of his arm is red flowers. She's like, oh, these are the poppy warriors that Nell warned us about. Mm-hmm. The leader steps forward. Gemma apologizes for intruding, and Felicity pipes up and says that they're lost. Like, obviously they know. He introduces himself, says his name is Azrael, and that he's a knight of the poppy. He notices Felicity with her bow and arrow, and he asks what they offered the forest folk for the weapon. Felicity says it was a gift, and all of the poppy warriors start chanting lies. Azrael mocks her, asking what a sweet lass would do with such a dreadful gift anyways. He compliments her on her spirit, saying that it's almost a shame that they're going to have to break her. He, like, takes the bow and arrow from her and, like, throws it at some point. There's, like, a bit of back and forth. The girls... Oh, and then he tells them that they're gonna, like, basically suck the magic out of their bones, essentially. Like, we're gonna kill you, eat you, and just have your bone marrow. Let's see. Okay, and then he says that once we sacrifice you, we're gonna have even more power than the power we're gonna take from you. And then he begins appraising the girls, like, which one should we start with? And then he grabs Felicity and throws her to the ground. He's saying, like, you'll do. He claps his hands, 2 warriors come up, they pick her up by her arms, at which point Gemma shouts, telling him that he's not being very sporting, and that she has a game to propose. Basically, like, you said that you like games, but you're just gonna kill us? That's crazy. So she's like, why don't you hunt us instead? And Azriel's like, hey, bet, love this. There's catacombs in the basement here, so I'm gonna set you loose. There's 5 paths. One of them will get you out. If you happen to find that path before we find you, you're free. So they try to, like, yeet themselves out of there through the door, but he kind of knew that they were going to do that, and so he did something to prevent them from being able to summon the door. They start chanting, like, run to them. Gemma and Anne haul ass. Gemma sees Felicity is not with them, but she's picking up her bow and arrow, and then she screams run at them, and they get downstairs. They're in the tunnels. There's 5 dimly lit tunnels. Gemma suggests they each take a tunnel, and if they find the exit, that they shout for the others to come and join them. But Felicity says, we're not separating. So, okay, cool. I guess we'll just walk through these 5 fucking tunnels. As they go down one, it's a dead end. They come back, and they're in the center of all these, tunnels, and then Felicity realizes that the amulet's glowing. So Gemma pulls the amulet off, but she's, like, really nervous and flustered, so the amulet goes flying. As she's bending down to pick it up, Azriel's boot is, like, on the amulet, basically saying, like, we got you. He begins taunting Anne, and then he turns around and starts taunting Felicity, and he's saying some really fucking foul shit about her father. And then basically saying, like, just really disgusting stuff. And then he hands her a dagger and basically is like, you don't have to be here. So Gemma tells Felicity that she has to stay strong. Basically saying, Nell told us the Poppy Warriors would steal our strength. You're our strength. We need you to be strong. Azriel isn't liking that Gemma's trying to hype Felicity up, so he, like, comes in on her and starts saying shit about her dad. Gemma is not listening to him. Like, she's fully aware that, like, if she listens to him, he's gonna, like, get in her head. So she's, like, very covertly trying to look at the amulet and, like, point it at the different tunnels so that they can figure out which one that they need to, like, go to. And basically, let's see. Felicity grabs her bow. Basically, while he's going in on Gemma, Felicity grabs her bow and, like, aims it at him. And he tells her to put it down, and she says no. And then he gets really mad and says, I'm gonna fucking eat you alive. And she's sobbing, but she just says, I don't fucking think so. Like, I don't bloody think so. And she shoots him in the neck and kills him.
Love our queen.
Yes.
Love our queen.
So he collapses to the ground. The rest of the warriors are, like, screeching and, like, what the fuck just happened? The girl, Gemma, knows which way to go. She grabs them. They take off. They get out. The Poppy Warriors are into the big ass birds again. The girls get in the boat. The birds are coming. Felicity's, like, killing the birds. I'm only telling you this because we get to the point where Felicity is only going to have 1 arrow left. Because she, like, killed a lot of the Poppy Warriors. Something bumps the boat. Felicity tells them to keep rowing. All of a sudden, the Poppy Warriors stop. They're done. They're like, okay, we're not going to keep following you. The girls are like, woohoo! And then an oar is, like, ripped out of Anne's hands, and the girls don't even have time to be, like, stunned by this, because then the boat flips over. And Felicity and Gemma pop up, but Anne has not. When they had their, like, thing with the nymphs, Anne very much was, like, trying to, like, touch the nymphs because she didn't realize that they were, like, evil. And then when they did realize that they were evil, like, they pulled Anne back. And so the nymphs very much are like, she was ours. She offered herself to us. Like, fuck you. So the nymphs have come and they've taken Anne. Felicity and Gemma make their way back to the garden. They need help. Pippa is basically like, I'm not going to help you. And Felicity says, if you fail us now, I'm never coming back and I will never see you again. So Pippa's like, okay, fine. Gemma's like, we really need an adult though. So she goes and she gets Miss Moore. At first, Miss Moore doesn't believe Gemma, basically saying, like, I'll only go with you if you prove it right now that it's real. Gemma pulls up the door. They go. They're debating on what to do because at this point they still don't think that they should trust the Gorgon, but they decide, like, she's a boat. She'll take us to the lagoon. Like, we don't really have a choice. They go to the lagoon. While they're sailing, Hester asks Gemma how she found this place. Gemma lore dumps, tells her mom's Mary. Hester asks if McLeethy was the one who killed her mom. Gemma confirms yes. Hester tells Gemma that she's frightened for her. As the Gorgon is letting them off the boat, she says to Gemma, be careful that you're not caught in a net. Gemma promises she'll be careful, and the Gorgon says, some nets are difficult to see until you're thoroughly ensnared. They find Anne. The nymphs have her tied to a rock. They're trying to, like, fucking skin her because I guess the nymphs like the skin. And I guess lore of the nymphs is that water is warm because it's being heated by human skin. So, like, warm bodies of water, lagoons, are being heated by human skin. So they're trying to skin her. Gemma gets down. They pull her off. This is something about, like, the song and the rock from Nell's poetry. So Anne is the song of the group. Gemma gets Anne. They get back up to everybody else. Gemma's like, haha, fuck you. You can't have our skin, bitch. And then Miss Moore's like, can you cool it? And then the nymphs start singing. Everyone quickly covers their ears except Felicity, who then starts going into the lagoon after, like, the song. And so Miss Moore tells Anne to start singing. And so Anne sings, and she's eventually is able to sing loudly enough that she's drowning out the nymphs, and Felicity is doing better. Pippa runs out. They're having, like, a wet moment. Gemma thanks Hester for her quick thinking, but Hester says, it is I who should be thanking you. Gemma says, why? And then all of a sudden, they turn, she doesn't respond. They make their way back to the Gorgon, and then all of a sudden the tracker pops up and the ghost girls are there. So Hester's like, run. And she doesn't run. She's like, falls behind the girls. The girls get on the boat. Hester shouts, Gorgon, take them to the garden. And Gemma's like, no, we have to stay and wait for her. And so she keeps telling the Gorgon to stop and turn back, and the Gorgon doesn't. She sets sail. Hester's left behind. Gemma demands to know why the Gorgon didn't obey her command, because she's the order, and the Gorgon obeys the order's commands. And the Gorgon just tells her that her first order will always be to keep Gemma out of harm. So, like, I didn't turn back because it's more important that you stay safe. And then Gemma argues that they could have saved Hester, and the Gorgon says, I think not. The girls return home for the night. Gemma dreams of Nell. Nell says, Lady Hope, what have you done? Gemma sees the green cloak making its way into Nell's room. Gemma hears a stifled cry the next morning when Gemma wakes up. Tom tells Gemma that Nell has fallen with a fever and she hasn't woken up. Like, so last night she came down with a fever and nobody's been able to get her awake since. Gemma makes her way to Felicity's, tells them about her dream, that they have to return to the realms, finish things tonight. As Gemma's leaving, she sees her family coachman outside Felicity's house. He helps her inside the carriage. She sees Miss McLeethy and the Scarface guy. Miss McLeethy says that they need to go somewhere private because they need to discuss the temple. Scarface then asks Gemma if his rag smells like chloroform to her. Gemma wakes up in a dark room.
God.
Kardik enters with a glass of water. Gemma tells him that she's been kidnapped, but he says that Miss McLeethy is part of the order and that she's there to assist Gemma with the temple. Gemma argues that that's not true. Miss McLeethy is Circe. Kardik tells her that she took one of Circe's aliases in hopes to draw out Circe. So basically, Miss McLeethy was in fact an alias that Circe was using. Miss McLeethy's name is Sahira Foster. And that she's actually been hunting Circe this entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Sahira tells Gemma that she's taken entirely too long figuring out the temple, so she's basically like, you're not doing it. I'm here to fucking finish the job for you, with you. The Rakshana believe that Sahira is going to obey and bind the power to them. She knows that that's like what the incantation is. She's like, yeah, you'll have your power, whatever. She pulls Gemma aside and she asks Gemma what phrase she was told to use to bind the power. Sahira then confirms that the Eastern Star is not the Order, it's Rikshana. She then tells Gemma that Kardik's true mission was to kill her. And then once the task has been completed, basically once you did the temple, he's going to kill you. Gemma says that's not true, and Sahira tells Gemma that if she asks Kardik, that his reply is going to like confirm or deny, essentially, which is 1000% true. She goes on to tell Gemma that she is incredibly powerful and that she wants to help bind so Sahira's like, Gemma, you're incredibly powerful. I want to help you. And then we'll rebuild the Order together. Like, I'll take you under my wing. I'll teach you everything. Like, you'll be able to like use and harness your powers better. We're really seeing an NCR versus the Legion kind of moment here. Fallout reference. After the aside to Gemma, Gemma asks Kardik, what's your true task? Not the one where you find the temple. And he is like, and he's trying to play dumb. And he's like, that was the only mission. And she, can tell that he's like, obviously uncomfortable and upset. So she asks him again. He tells her that finding the temple was the only task. She calls him a liar, and she grabs Sahira's hand, as if they're about to like yeet themselves into the realms. Gemma then pretends to faint. While she's on the floor, she grabs the dagger from her boot, and she's just like, like, and she looks over at Kardik, and he kind of like nods, like at a door. So she's like, okay, cool, that's the exit. So they take off. They're being chased. Kardik helps her safely exit, gets her out on the street, gets her into a carriage. Cab. Okay, so Gemma goes to Miss Moore's. Miss Moore is boarding at some like woman's house, like she's running out of room. So she tells the woman that she's there to see Miss Moore. The woman says Miss Moore's not here, you can't come in. And she's like, well, this is really important. She convinces the woman to let her wait in Miss Moore's room for Miss Moore. Let's see. Okay, so as Gemma's like just, that feels like a safe place for Gemma to go. It's essentially what it is that she just needs some place to like figure something out. And as she's sitting in Miss Moore's room, the woman comes in and says, oh, it looks like she left me this note this morning. It's the day after she was sealed in the realms. But she said, the note says that she's taken a teaching post at a boarding school where her sister is the headmistress, which sounds an awful lot like the note from the boarding school that Nell attended, which is what Miss McCleathy, aka Circe, told them before she left. She grabs, as Gemma, Queen of Denial, grabs a scrap of paper and writes out Hester Asa Moore. She begins to work on the anagram. Nick, what's the anagram?
Team Horse Rose.
Sarah Reese Toom.
Hey, I got more. Sarah Three Moose. Some other Sarah E. Here's to emo Sarah. Sarah O Threesome. A rose or the same.
Does it spell her name?
It's Sarah Reese Toom.
Yeah.
You would need to know how to spell Reese Toom because it's mind-boggling how it's spelled, but I didn't want to tell you and give it away.
Because the other teachers spelled out like I am Circe or something like that, I was going for like actual sentences rather than spelling out another name.
Yeah. You had Sarah. Reestoome.
Actually, I have one curious thought because I was trying to figure out what the anagram could be in my head as well, even though I knew that. I didn't think it could be, my brain was being something stupid, but 1 second.
Sarah the Mooser.
The Mooser.
Alright, I wasn't paying attention for like the last half hour, so start over.
You're gonna edit it, so
Bitch.
you're gonna hear it.
I don't know what to tell you. Anyways.
I like mine better.
So,
Sorry, Libba.
I would have been wrong anyways.
Yeah. So at this point, Gemma knows she's fucked up. Stuff happens. Gemma returns home. She's frantic. She has a fever. Her brother drugs her, like, basically because everyone's like, what the fuck is going on with her? So they drug her to just make her sleep. She sleeps for 3 days. While she's drugged and unconscious, Gemma dreams of the temple, which obviously are in the cave of Sighs, guarded by the Hajin. Because Gemma's drugged, though, Circe is able to see into her dreams. So she now knows where the temple is. When Gemma wakes up, Anne and Felicity are there. Gemma is fully inconsolable. She tells them everything. She basically tells them it's over, I'm sorry, and just kind of rolls over. Like, she's just not having it anymore. Tom brings Gemma to see Nell, basically telling her, well, you've been in bed for a long time. I got to get you up and out of the house. Like, you need to move around. But also, since you and Nell have formed this relationship, maybe if you come sit with her and try to talk to her, maybe you'll help pull her out of her stupor or whatever.
I forgot one more anagram. Sarah E. Mortos.
Mortos. That's your favorite type of toe.
Oh my god.
Okay. So anyways,
Add one to the counter.
Let's see. She goes in. She's sitting with Nell. Gemma tells. She tells. Anyways, Nell wakes up and basically says she can't find the power. Hope isn't lost. So Circe is in the temple, but she can't do anything with the power. She can't bind it to herself. She can't do anything because Gemma's the only one who can do that. So with that, Gemma makes like a banana. She gets it.
Makes like a banana?
I got it this time.
I know.
What is it?
And splits.
Oh, okay.
We went through this before, except that was the one that was like, oh, where does the banana come in?
She's like, wait, back up. Where's the banana? And yeah, okay, so the number of times I wanted to do that in other stories too, and I just haven't, and I'm like, I have to
but
now.
now I'll understand now.
Yes.
That's just your thing, is a banana reference.
Yes.
The banana reference.
The queen of bananas.
She's like one.
Yeah, I sure do.
Put them in pajamas.
I love pajamas. Anyways, so she gets to the girlies. They go to the realm. The garden's fucked up. They ask Gemma where the temple is. Gemma says, it's not safe to say. Basically, like, someone could be here listening. I'm not going to tell you. Just come along. They make their way to the caves. As they're coming up to the caves, Pippa's on the Gorgon, like, hey, guys! And so, Felicity is like, oh, come on. Gemma basically says, I don't think Pippa can come with us. Pippa's beauty must not pass. I don't think she can come with us. And Felicity is basically like, well, let me at least give her a proper goodbye type of thing. Like, Felicity's not going to fight her on it, but she's like, I didn't get to say goodbye to her the first time. I'm going to say goodbye to her now. They enter the caves. Asha asks Gemma what she has brought them. She says, I've brought hope. Asha smiles and asks Gemma if she's ready to bind the magic. Asha tells Gemma that she must face her fears and that the words she uses to bind it will shape everything. So she needs to choose her words wisely. She steps in. There's like water. She steps in. Temple. In the temple, it's basically like a big stone cave room, but then there's like a well in the center, which is part of the Jack and Jill reference. Let's see. Circe's there. She has Nell. Circe tells Gemma that together they're going to do great things. Gemma says, shut the fuck up. She literally says, you have nothing to say that I want to hear. Circe tries to plead her case, basically saying, you're going to have to get your hands dirty at some point too. It's just part of life. Like, you can't have power without hurting somebody with it type of thing. Gemma tells her that the realms didn't choose her. Circe says, it's not that the realms didn't choose me, they gifted me, they gave me my power back, the orders who took my power in the first place, and the realms did choose me because they gave it back to me. She tells Gemma that if she binds the magic to the order, they're going to come and take everything away from Gemma. She's like, if you bind it to them, they're not going to let you have the power either, they're going to cut you out. This is very much a Mr. House type of moment. Circe goes on to tell Gemma that she's been waiting because Gemma can free her from the dark spirit. Basically, like, I need you. I don't want to be bound to this dark spirit. If you bind the power to us, I don't have to be bound to the dark spirit anymore. You can help me. Like, I need you to help me type of thing. Like, I'm a good person, blah, blah, blah.
I want to know who's the dark spirit behind all of this.
And at this point, Gemma saves so she can find out how both options turn out.
Correct. And at this point, Pippa comes busting through into the temple. Felicity and Anne are running after her, like, trying to stop her from going in there. And Felicity sees Circe, raises the bow. She says, I have one arrow left. Pippa asks Circe if she knows how to keep a spirit in the realms and remain free. Circe says she does. Gemma tells Pippa that she's lying. Pippa tells Felicity that then they won't need, like, we can be together forever. Like, if she helps me, if I help her, then I don't have to leave you. Felicity's, like, honestly just having a moment. She's, like, crying. Very dramatic. Pippa essentially approaches Circe. She's asking if she'll be able to remain as she is. Like, is the magic going to change me? Circe says, nope, you'll be you. It won't hurt. It'll be great. Gemma is begging Pippa not to do this. Pippa asks Gemma, what have you done for me? And then Pippa takes Circe's hand. Felicity begins to loosen her grip on the bow. Gemma tells Felicity that she knows this can't happen and tells Felicity that she needs to take Circe out. At that point, Pippa steps in front of Circe. So if Felicity is to take this last shot, she can't do so without hurting Pippa. So she doesn't. She lowers the bow. She just says, I'm sorry, I can't. Gemma grabs the bow, aims for Nell, lets the arrow fly, hits Nell in the throat, and she crumples. Circe lunges for Gemma because she was going to sacrifice Nell, and now she can't. So Circe lunges for Gemma. They tumble into the well. Gemma says, they fight, they tussle, they struggle, blah, blah, blah. She pushes Circe, jumps out of the well. Gemma then says, I place a seal upon the power, let the balance of the realms be restored, and let no one disturb their majesty. I bind the magic in the name of all who shall share the power one day, for I am the temple, the magic lives within me. Pippa asks, is it done then? And the girls turn and look at her, and she's not Pippa anymore. She has jagged teeth, her skin is pale, they can see her blue veins through it. Her eyes are cloudy white with just little pinpricks of black in the center, and the girls are too stunned to speak. They're just, like, staring at her like, the fuck? And Pippa goes, why are you looking at me like this? They don't respond. She says, it's done, but I'm still here. Like, she's like, I don't understand why you're looking at me like this, but it's fine. It's fine. I'm here. It's fine. I'm me. And then she smiles at them, but she has, like, really jagged teeth, and this is, like, very horrifying. Gemma very gently tells Pippa that it's time that she lets go. Pippa starts crying, and she starts crying, and she begs Felicity not to make her go. Like, Felicity, don't let me go. Like, please let me stay here. Felicity begins sobbing, and she just says, I'm sorry, Pippa. Pippa screams. She's reminding Felicity that they had promised they would be together forever, that Felicity would never leave her. She then wipes her tears away. She tells them that they're going to be sorry, and she fucking pieces. Gemma says, I know we're going to see her again, but it'll be as enemies type of thing. So they leave the cave. The Gorgon asks if Gemma would like to return to the garden. Gemma simply says that she releases the Gorgon from the binds. Basically, like, I release you, you're free. And then the Gorgon says, okay, do you want to go back to the garden? And Gemma is basically like, you've been free this whole time, haven't you? And the Gorgon says, yes, thank you for freeing me, but, like, do you want to go back to the garden?
I really just like being a boat.
Yeah, Gemma's like, why aren't you taking your freedom and leaving? And the Gorgon tells Gemma that she likes having choices and that she chooses to take Gemma back. Basically, like, kind of like the midwife, the freedom to leave is the freedom to stay. Mm-hmm. The Gorgon's like, I like that I can choose to be free, but I don't choose to be free. Like, I choose to help you type of thing. So once...
Like the genie from Aladdin.
Yes.
He is free, but he chooses to stay with
Correct.
Aladdin for the animated series.
So,
and subsequent sequels.
Yes. Once they're back home, Gemma finds Kardec, tells him that there is work to be done. She would like his help. Basically, she comes up to him and she's like, I need your help. Like, we're rebuilding a new world type of thing. Like, I want you with me, but only if you want to be with me. Like, if you want to help me, sort of thing. Like, on my team type of thing.
Partners in crime or in good stuff.
I want your help, but only if you give it freely type of thing, without obligation. She then tells him, you can't serve our friendship while also serving the Rakshana. Like, if you're going to help me, you need to cut ties with them. And he smiles and he begins to, like, tear up, and he tells her that no longer wanted by the Rakshana, and because he's so disgraced that he probably wouldn't do her cause any favors. She just then responds, "It'll have to do, I guess." And so he nods like he knows that she's joking with him. She then says, "It seems like you've changed your destiny after all." And he counters, "Maybe it was my fate to do so." The end.
Aww.
Yeah.
Okay, so did she bind the magic to herself?
Yes.
I love that. Go girl.
But she also, like, restored balance, and I do think that, I know that the next book is, like, obviously her, like, kind of tying up loose ends and, like, setting the realm to right, because...
Is Cersei dead, or is she, like...
She's frozen in the well.
Frozen in the well.
Because she has sealed the temple, meaning that Cersei being inside the well is sealed within it, and so that'll be a loose end that they're gonna tie up in the next book as well. But basically just kind of trying to rebuild things and kind of guide people to, like, the new way of life sort of thing. But she basically wants to share the power equally with everybody who wants to be on her side type of thing. Like, balance was restored. I'm the temple. I have the magic, but I choose to, like, give it to the people I choose to give it to type of thing.
I can't wait to listen back to this and figure out
You're like,
everything that I missed.
Yeah.
I was so focused on the anagram. It's
right.
like my neck is so stiff. I'm like, I can feel it.
I know,
like,
I'm so sorry.
creaking. No, you're fine. Cause I'm just like locked in because I'm heavily invested in
Yes.
this story right now.
Yes.
So I was wrong about her being a Medusa Gorgon. That's okay.
Yeah.
I thought she wouldn't be bad, but I thought she was going to be good. But I knew
So-
the old teacher was bad.
She was the leader of the Gorgons, so she led the Gorgons in the rebellion against the Order.
Okay, so she was a Gorgon.
So, yeah, so she was bad. She was cursed by the Order to serve them and only tell the truth because she was the leader of the Gorgons. But she... I'm gonna say she believes in Gemma, and, like, it seems like her and Asha very much believe that Gemma is going to be the change she wants to see in the world type of thing. So that's kind of why the Gorgon is like, I choose to help you, though. Like, thank you for freeing me. That was very kind of you. But also, if you're showing that you're freeing me, you are showing clear integrity. I've been free this whole time since the magic was released. And I've honored my duty to you as the, like, sorceress of the Order at the Most High. Like, I've only been honest with you, and I will continue to do so type of thing. Like, that was kind of how that was left off. So,
yeah, because in my whole head, I'm like, fuck the Order and fuck the Rakshan.
yeah, literally.
I was like, make your own rules, girl.
Literally, and I don't know if we're going to learn more about that, but it does seem like they were lovers at one point, but now there's a lot of animosity, and I don't necessarily know or remember why.
Yeah, you said something about the caves. That's where the
like
Order and the
they
Rakshana went.
They would go do sexy stuff.
That was their lovers'
They would
night.
go do sexy stuff.
Very Jon Snow, and
Which is kind of why I asked about the caves. Was it size or size?
yes.
Either way.
Oh my god.
Yeah. All right. Well, we do have a dinner party to go to, and I am fucking starving.
And peace out.
Peace out.
Yap out.
Yap out. Thanks for yappening.
Yeah, thanks for part 2.
Yeah, and the next book is even longer, so that might be a 3-parter. R.I.P. So sorry.
Content.
Content. Yeah.
I know, but it just means that we're going to take even longer to get to our listener request. Also, the second I told her that I added her book and I, like, bumped it to, like, the top, like, I was like, we're doing some series, but once we get through that, I will do that. She just pulls out and is like, read this book and then do this book. And I'm just like, we're, like, your tailor-made podcast.
We are. We're just starting out, so we don't have many followers. And then it's like people in our real life are giving us
I told her, I'm like, we're going to do incidences around the house. She goes, I'm going to climb through your windows.
Oh my god.
She's like, I'm just going to turn up. I'm going to be on that podcast.
I love that 2026 year of figuring ourselves out.
Yes.
Year of me becoming a huntress.
She's our little Felicity, and you got the beautiful blonde hair.
I don't know if it's beautiful, but it is blonde.
It is beautiful, crispy white. Not crispy, like, texture, but, like...
I mean, it's crispy, too, because of all the bleaching.
I don't mean it crispy
I
like that.
desperately need salon help. If you have recommendations below.
Drop them in the comments. Drop anything in the comments, please. Feedback, etc.
Yeah.
Give me a name to anagram.
I think it's, like, the fear of being the first commenter on something new.
Maybe, I don't know.
So that's also a thing.
Also, shout out to Switzerland.
Switzerland, yeah! We know nobody in Switzerland, so they have checked us out.
I know, love that. All right.
We are not neutral on Switzerland. We are positive.
Pro and positive.
Okay, we gotta...
Bye!
Bye!
Yep, Switzerland.